Hey everybody, this is Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and today I've got a comic book haul for you. Now, these are books that I picked up from a recent comic book show, but the show had a little bit of a theme, and it looks like they do this show once a year, and this is from Clandestine Comics here in Maryland. And if you've seen some of my other videos where I talk about this show I go to, they alternate between going to Hunt Valley, Maryland and Laurel, Maryland. And I can't tell you which one it was in at this point, but every year it seems like they, at least the last two, they do a show where basically everything's $1. And sometimes it's less than $1, but basically it's a way for them to clean out a lot of the inventory of smaller books that don't generally sell that much. You can still pick up some good keys, and definitely, but it's a way for guys to unload a lot of this inventory that's just hard to move to begin with. And you go in there and you kind of know what you're expecting. You dig for keys and maybe some that have value that maybe the grade's not quite as good, but you can maybe for me, I look for a book that I can work on and improve the grade. But it's also a lot of guys in there looking for run fillers. You can buy, I mean, there's a ton of books. I mean, don't get me wrong. And I'll be honest, this room was more busy for this than I've seen for the regular show. And I think it's because everybody's in a box digging. Every table around the room, everybody's digging, going through these boxes. And what was one of the things I like to do is look for some of these ratio variants that, oh, 3 months ago, oh, this was the hot book. You had to pay $20 to get this book. If it was an incentive, it was a ratio. Oh, you got to have it. And now you go in there and it's like they're trying to unload these things for $1, and it's like, cool. That's part of the reason I stopped getting a lot of these books ratios like that. I stopped speculating on this stuff, and I tend to maybe only in a very specific case, if it's something that really piques my interest, or if I really just like the artwork, well, I go after a book at this point. But hey, let's just go through some of these books. These are fun things that I found. Some of them may have some hidden value. Some of them may just be run fillers. But let's see. I picked up issues number 2 and 3 of the Brubaker run. Of course, that introduced us to the Winter Soldier. Now this one was actually, I think it's still in the poly bag, but I'm going to try to work with this. This is Jurassic Park number 1. And I think this is the original cover to it. And I think this is, I mean, you got some big creators in this. You got George Perez, you've got Gil Kane. I want to say there's somebody else, and it's blanking on me. Oh, I'm sorry, Walt Simonson too. What am I talking about? And I recently pulled this out of my own PC and worked on it and got a 9.8 on this thing. So I was real happy with that. So when I found that, I was like, needs a little work. You can tell, got a little bit of a bend right there. Well, maybe you can't tell as much as I can see it, but that's a book that I will put into the press and see what we can do to it. Oh, I'm going to skip this. This is issue number 4 of the Captain America series. Of course, you've got that famous cover here that they kind of emulated for the Winter Soldier movie. 5th issue of Batman from the New 52. This is, of those first 6 issues, this is probably the least expensive, or least valuable of those books, but still part of that early Court of Owls storyline. This is Batman number 0, and I was looking for this book, but this is a book that I had gotten signed, I want to say, Mike Manley had done the cover to this, and I think at some point he had signed this for me years ago at this point, and at that time I remember I was getting my book signed with a silver paint pen, and one of those kinds where you've got to shake it up and then press it to kind of get that ink flowing, and boy, you got to be careful with those. And did pretty good with the artist signing with those, and it looked great, but if you were not, you had to let those things dry really good before you put them back into a bag. And I think this is one of those ones where it had gotten smeared a little bit, so I picked up another copy of that to get that one redone maybe someday. I found some Matt Wagner books here, Batman and the Monster Men. This is the first issue. And Batman and the Mad Monk. This is the first issue of that. Beautiful covers, huh? And then I found a copy of Classic X-Men #1. Now I can guarantee that as good as this cover looks on the front, I would guarantee that black border on the back has probably got some spine ticks. So we'll see. We'll see what I got for $1 on that one. Bought this one just because of the artist. This is Thunder Agents #1. This is from I guess it's 2011, but this is Darwin Cook artwork here. So love his artwork. I'm a big fan. I was a big fan. I got to meet him years ago at Comic-Con. He did a little sketch card for me. I actually own one of the pages from his New Frontier miniseries. And it's not one of the ones with heroes in costume, but it does have Hal Jordan on it. And man, I don't think I could even afford to buy something like that today. You know, you go 10 years ago, and some of these things you could still find deals on. But these days, everything's really expensive. But love his artwork. Hadn't seen that before, so I picked that up. And I'm going to make a mess here. I'm going to put the books right up here on this table. X-Men #1. This is Free Comic Book Day. And then one of my favorite dealers there he always has a lot of brand new books and a lot of the ratio variants to books, and things that you normally would go either from cover price 4 to some of these 1 in 10 variants, like he'd sell for $10, 1 in 20 he'd sell for $20. So I ended up picking up a bunch of stuff from him that he was basically trying to kind of get rid of some of his inventory. Things I've picked up before, but these are really in tip-top condition, and if they ever amount to something, I've got some books here that can go back into the CGC. In fact, books like this right here is the first issue of We Only Find Them When They're Dead. This is one of the Virgin cover. I don't have the information in front of me, but I've gotten this one graded, actually. I think I've got 2 9/8 in my collection. And what was so hard about this book was on the back, you could see where the printer had gripped the paper, and it's got these grip marks. That's not horrible, and it kind of just, it left a little bit of a mark, and I worked on both of those and got them out as much as I can, and I was happy. I got 9/8 on all the ones I've sent into this. This is a book that I think has been picked up, but no news is not helping this book at all. Just going to sit there in my collection. It's, as a 9/8, it's great, but nobody wants it. It's worthless, right? Well, it's fine. I'll just keep it in the PC. I'm not sure what this is. It's a beautiful Virgin cover of something, right? And he still has the price tags on here. Let me see if I can open this up real quick and see what this is. I can guarantee it's from a book that I have spec'd on before. It's just a ratio variant that I wasn't aware of. So what is this? Oh, there we go. It's Eat the Rich #1. It's one of those. So let's put that back in here. And I probably should have known that, because the next book that I've got sitting here is the regular cover to Eat the Rich. And let's see, I picked up a #1 issue of Silver Coin. Of course, this is a horror anthology type book, and it's been very highly reviewed. So we'll see if anything ever comes to that. That gives me like a second #1 I think I've got on that. Picked up a couple of Bunny Mask #1s. This is really a bizarre series. The one with the die-cut mask, and the one, oops, I'm killing it with the light there. I picked up a couple of those. I picked up an additional #1 of Dark Blood. This is from Boom Studios. And for $1, it's just another thing to add to the collection, and if things ever happen with this, hey, I've got extra copies of it. Let's see. Oh, I picked up, so as I said, he had a lot of books from We Only Find Them When They're Dead, ones that I hadn't picked up previously and ones that I had. The ones you saw earlier, ones that I had. This one, I hadn't seen this one. This is another variant cover to that. I actually hadn't seen that one. And for a buck, I'm going in and I'm buying multiples of this. I've literally got 3 of that cover. And then I bought 3 more of the regular cover. And as I said, I think I've got 2 of these in my 9.8 CGC collection right now. So guys, let's make this a thing, and let's hope this finally takes off, because not that I'm in heavy on this and everything, but I did buy a bunch of these. So it'd be nice if this book would take off and become Walking Dead on one of the channels, wouldn't it? And then the last couple I picked up from this dollar show, I picked up another #1 of Carmen, and this is one I'd actually gotten graded and sold it. I mean, I sold it for a pretty good price, actually, and so I just went back and bought another one for $1. So it's less than cover price. So what are you going to do? You can't go wrong. And then the very last book I picked up was The Avengers #1 from the Heroic Age. You got John Romita artwork there and everything, and it's just a #1. I've got this in my collection, but as I said, it was a fun show. It wasn't high stress. You just kind of go in there and you got some guys going through trying to fill runs. I'm kind of going in there thumbing through books that I can spec on for virtually nothing. And if nothing comes of this, I literally spent, I don't even think I spent $30. It was less than $30 on this. I think I was around that $25 mark at this show. So that one I got out pretty clean. I've got some good books here. If anything happens to any of these books, we got extras on some of these. So anyway, fun little video, short video again. Hey, I'm keeping them short, guys, keeping them short. I hope you enjoyed it today, and I will see you for the next one. Take care now.